I wanted to tell you this story. It's kind of a strange one, and I know people may have trouble with it, but it is a true story.
Okay.
A few years ago, my sister passed away. She was very ill, and she was in the hospital.
Right.
And we were called in. She was in ICU. We called in by the nurse. Things did not, were going badly.
Right.
And my mom and my niece, her daughter, and I went in. My nephew, her son, was on his way. We all gathered around the bed. She was hooked up to a lot of tubes, her blood pressure, her heart monitor, and they had her bed cranked up in a sitting position because she had trouble breathing, and she was on an oxygen mask, which she had been on for days. She could not breathe without the oxygen.
Got it.
At one point, I saw her blood pressure fall very, very low. She began to flatline, and the nurse said to me, "She's passing."
Uh-huh.
I looked at my sister. My mother was, very close to my sister and crying. I told my sister, I looked at her, and she had been awake for all of this and was still there with us. I looked at her and I said, "Please don't leave us. Come back as a ghost."
Oh,
now, I hope that's not sound like a terrible thing, but I didn't want to lose my sister.
I understand.
My sister actually was a little surprised and looked up at me. And she passed.
Wow.
My mom was crying terribly hard, and my niece was crying, and I was crying.
Of course.
And after a little while of us all just standing there crying, the nurse said, "I have another room you can all gather in. Let's go to the other room."
Right.
We all began to walk out slowly. I was the last. They were pulling the tubes. She had no blood pressure. She had a flat line, no heart rate, was not breathing. They took the mask off my sister. She had not been off this mask in a week. She was totally gone. I turned and looked at her as we left the room, and I saw her speaking. I saw her mouth forming words. I just stood there. I told my mother, I said, "Do you see that? She's talking." My mother didn't seem to acknowledge it. She was just too upset. I couldn't hear her, but I could plainly see her mouth forming words, not slowly, fast.
You are talking about the body of your sister, or the physical body of your sister, not a ghostly figure, but...
That's right, the physical body.
You do understand that it is possible that muscles and nerves...
Yes, but I saw words being formed.
Wow.
I saw her, she was not spasming.
God.
I do know about that.
Okay.
And I didn't know what to think. I still have never heard of a story like this.
Nor have I.
I am a nurse.
Yeah, this is absolutely a new one on me.
Yes, and that's why I wanted to tell you this, because I have never heard of this before.
And you could not make out any of the words?
I was very far across the room, and to this day I regret so much that I did not walk over, but I was just so stunned. I just looked at her, and nobody else saw this. I could see that her lips were actually, she was speaking. I could see her forming words with her lips. I could not understand. She was speaking very fast.
Well,
that's what happened.
Yeah, that's an amazing, amazing story, and maybe you can be comforted in the fact that she tried.
Well, that's the only thing I can think of, and I will always regret that I did not understand what she was trying to say, except that maybe she was trying to tell me I'm not gone. And I wanted to tell the story because I know we are all wondering, what's next?
You bet.
And I'm telling the truth, and believe me, I am as sane as, can be.
I believe you, and that's a heck of a story.
Well, anyway, Art, it is nice to have you back. I've never gotten to tell you that, so
thank you.
It's wonderful.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that story. Here's what I would say. We explore all the time, what might be coming next. it is possible that she did form words, and that it was done essentially from the other side. You know, the physical manipulation. It's also possible that we don't understand all we think we do about the process of dying. And I know scientifically they say, look, flatlined, not breathing, no heartbeat, no mental activity, dead, right? But I don't think we understand it all, and I don't think it is nearly as instantaneous as we believe it to be. But these are, you know, all things we mortal humans can only wonder about, short of absolute science that tells us what death is conclusively. We don't know. There may be a kind of consciousness that we don't understand that continues. Anyway, I'm sure she certainly loves you. So that's what I'd take away from that, is comfort that she was trying to do what you asked her to do. From the high desert and the great American Southwest, this is Midnight in the Desert, raging through it.